Moving on to our next session, the making of the big book of Odia literature and why its legacy is important. I would request Mautushi Mukherjee, who is the commissioning editor, Penguin Random House India, to join us on the stage. Manu Das, who is the director of the festival, and he is a bilingual poet, author, translator, editor, publisher, and curator of Odisha Art and Literature Festival. He has more than 30 books published in English and Odia, including the poetry collection A Brief History of Silence. And I would also request the moderator Bidyut Bhushan Jena to join us on the dais. He writes in English and Odia. Some of his poems and other pieces have appeared in various literary magazines, journals, and newspapers like Muse India, Rock Pebbles, The Hunts India, The Eastern Times, The Sambad, The Fall, Winter 2021 issue of Not Magazine, Springfield. The Antonym, a global online magazine dedicated to connecting global cultures through words, sound, and color. He received his MPhil and PhD from University of Hyderabad and the English and Foreign Language University, respectively. Currently, he teaches in Indian literatures, epics, world literature, philosophy, creative writing. I would also request M.K. Ajay to introduce this session. A big round of applause for the panelist. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everyone, and as I say, in literature, time doesn't become history, and in hunger, time is as real as grief. So we don't have to stand between you and the lunch. So I'll be asking mostly 2 or 3 questions to each panelist. So the first question is to the panelist on the left. The question is on publishing. What was your vision behind publishing, really, this book of this magnitude? And what was the difficulty in navigating the nuances that you may have encountered through the process of publishing?
It's actually, thank you so much for having me here. Good afternoon. My name is Mautushi Mukherjee. I am the commissioning editor for translations. I lead the translations program at Penguin India. And that is really where, that's connected to the question that you're asking about why the big book of Odia literature. Because I handle translations, and in my career of handling translations, I have looked and worked with a lot of regional authors across this vast and mighty country of ours. And we recognize it, that there are great stories to tell, which are not being told and which are not reaching a vast majority of readers in this country who happen to read in English. So the idea behind the big book of Odia was to curate the literary history of a region, and also to curate the literary history of the Odia people, because of course it transcends geographical boundaries. Odia, as it was spoken several centuries ago, is not exactly the same as it is spoken today. So we wanted to transcend demography and geography and look at the people who speak Odia and write in Odia, and have historically done so. The book traces all the way back to, I think, the 6th century. That's a huge, very long and very rich literary history, which amazingly has not been curated and recorded as yet. So I think that was the motivation. We wanted to bring this literary history together for readers in English. It was a big task, and I'm just grateful that we have done it.
It's a very important book, and I can see that it's well received. There's another question related to the question that I just asked. How do you really deal with this, I would say, call it a difficult pilgrimage? Because we have seen that the editors also are great writers. For example, Diana L. Eck, Diana Athill, who edited V.S. Naipaul and John Updike. She was also a great writer. So while going through all these pieces of poetry and story and all that, how did you really deal with, if you had a real problem with language or maybe certain expressions? So how did you control the writer in you? And how did the writer reconcile with that kind of a possible lapse, if I may say? Yeah.
I do 2 hard cuts to any manuscript. Every editor's style is different. I like to do only 2 cuts. The first cut is very hard, and I always fight with my author after the first cut, as I did with Manu. And we couldn't agree on many, many things. Then we discussed and we came to an agreement on some of them, and we chose to disagree on the others. The second cut is easier because we've already come to an agreement on what we're going to do and what we're not going to do. That's the first thing. That's my method of editing a manuscript. And the second part of your question, which is how do I keep myself at a distance? And the answer to that is I am very aware that I am the editor and I should not be seen or heard, for that matter. I am merely in the background. And if I have done my job well, you should not be able to, I should not be discernible anywhere in the book. So I am keenly aware of that, and I tell myself that every day when I'm sort of attracted to adding more to the text. I like to not add my bits. It's not my book. These are already great authors who have already written these pieces. We are merely translating it and bringing it to you. My job only was to help Manu present it in a manner that is enjoyable to read in English. That is all.
Thank you
I
very
have
much.
no other role to play.
Thank you very much. My next question is to Manu sir. Manu sir, the dedication, the way you have dedicated the book to the people of Odisha, actually, that actually encapsulates your love for the state. And but when you imagine a book of such magnitude, it becomes extremely difficult to select, because it is not only Odia writing, but writing from Odisha. So what was the difficulty? Because people would talk about that you selected these poems and you did not select the other, and that the people might invoke a whole sense of politics of writing also. So as a poet yourself, as an editor, as a publisher, so my question to you would be, how did you really deal with this difficulty?
Very difficult question when people are waiting for the lunch, because there are 3 questions. A question to a poet, to an editor, and to a publisher. Let me tell you, the publisher had no role to play here, because I am the only editor for this book. I have my own publishing house, tiny publishing house, but it has no role place. Yes, as an editor, a publisher, my job was easy, because I was aware about the technicalities for the publications, and no doubt Mautushi and Aparna, they were a great help, and they have never been seen their dissatisfaction while going through the job, this process. It was a very good journey after all, and I was really happy to do this book with Penguin, and I could know that what is the difference between a small time publisher and a big time publisher. I have learned a lot, and it's still going on. What you want exactly wanted to tell, that how did I conceive this book, or what you want to say?
How did you conceive of this book?
How
How did you bring all the writers?
all the writers, you see, the basic conceive in the sense this book is started from anguish. When I sent this proposal to Penguin, मेरा मन में था ये तो कट ही जाएगा, क्योंकि इससे पहले सैकड़ों प्रपोजल तो मैंने दिया है पब्लिशर लोगों को. It has never come out. But somehow or other, when they accepted this and I found that it is okay for publication, I was also skeptic. I thought that might be because we also tell people many commitments we give, don't keep it up. I thought that it is maybe not possible, thus they are telling like this. Mautushi might have forgotten. So after signing up this agreement for this book also, I was in a doubt that ये एक दिन बोलेंगे नहीं हम नहीं कर पाएंगे. So some money they had to give me. So मैं बार बार बोल रहा था कि मेरा पैसा कब मिलेगा. तो only to ensure myself that पैसा अगर दे देंगे तो वो जाएंगे नहीं कहाँ. तो that is the starting time and then when पैसा आ गया तो थोड़ा तसल्ली आया कि नहीं ये किताब तो होगा ही. After that, yes, Matushi and Miliasharya and Aparna, they were all very, very supportive and a great help while I was making the book. So far the selection is concerned, you see the course for a editor is that he can't satisfy everybody. And आप जितना पेज का इधर में किताब करो, ये किताब पहले ऑलमोस्ट ऑल 500 के पेजेस का था एंड करते करते ये चला गया 728 पेजेस को, ऑलमोस्ट ऑल 150%. एंड उस टाइम पर भी मेरा दिमाग में था ये गया, ये होगा नहीं. I tried to accommodate as many writers as possible. Many of my friends, writers, used to ask me or blame me that why you have not included X and Y and Z and A and B, C. If you go through the book, it is a 1000 year minimum, 1000 years or 1500 years from the very beginning it has come to the contemporary, almost all very, very near to our 2015 you say. We have, this is not a book complete itself. We have taken the some important authors of that time, be it a poetry, be it a short story, be it plays and or essays. It is selected, and while selection, I do not know how far I am impartial, that a reader will only tell. But I have tried my best to give the best selection. And the advantage with me is that I am a student of Odia literature. I have read it, though I have not been into academics, but I almost all know each writer. So I need not consult a special person that whom should I take and whom I should not take. So that was quite helpful to me. One is my knowledge in Odia literature. Another is a publisher. Second thing, as a translator, I have 8 books translation earlier. Yes, finding translators, I have two, three things. You will find that the interesting thing is some people were telling that only few people can translate best. That is a misnomer. Nobody has given a try. We have the translator whose age is 25 to 95. We have the authors whose age is 28 to 95. So when we are, you can see the age group and selections. For example, Panchasakha. We cannot tell that in Panchasakha only who is the greatest out of Panchasakha. We have only taken 2 out of the 5. If you go to any generations, it is a generation matters. Supposing in the postmodern writing, there are hundreds of poets, and I know particularly, they are also good poets, but it was not possible. So was the case of short story also. When we took 30 short stories, till today, no publisher single has published 30 short stories of Odia single alone. But in this book, you will find 30 short stories. You can see from Fakir Mohan Senapati to Paresh Kumar Patnaik and Sadev Sahu. All are there. So, selection is a challenging. People, yes. And another point was some authors I wanted to take, but for some copyright reasons, and inaccessible to reach out, that was a problem. if I get any chance to make them available for non-Odia literatures, it will be certainly, I will try to do it. Thank you.
I just want to add one small thing. From the point of view of an editor, one of the things that we came to an agreement on, and I feel this is just a note that I'm sharing with everybody who wants to curate histories, is that many of the authors are no longer with us, people who have been represented in this book. And when we decided to translate these works of these authors, we had a sort of an ethical problem where we didn't know who to run the edits by, you know. And Manu had this ethical problem where he came to me and said, you're going to edit this piece by him and he's no longer with us. Who am I to look at your edits and say, well, he would have approved these? So we had that ethical problem with some of these authors. And so we kind of chose to edit as minimally as possible works by authors who are not around today to stand by any changes made to their work. So those essays you read are mostly represented without edits, or very few edits really, like minor grammar, or if, you know, in the original, like a word was missing or something, then we've added a word. But these are very, very minor edits. Some of these writings can read raw, but it's because we chose to keep them as such, and we chose not to dabble with them.
My next question to you, sir, again. Both of us have contributed to the book as translators. Poetry is the subtlest form of human language, and it becomes extremely difficult when you are translating poetry and you are a poet. And Robert Frost also says that poetry is something which is essentially lost in translation. So while translating some of the classical Odia poetry, what was the difficulty? What are the losses and gains? If you look upon, if I may filch this idea from Sujit Mukherjee, that translation is both recovery and discovery. What did you recover and what did you discover in the process of translating classical Odia poetry? Yes.
You see, most of the classical poetry were translated by most revered translators of Odisha, like Kalidas Mishra, Chittaranjan Mishra, and many others. I found the translation really brilliant. They were taking a lot more time, but it was coming very well. But as you said, translation is always an act of defeatism. Nobody can challenge that a translation will be accurate as is the original text. It is not possible culturally. Not only diction, using of a diction. Even if in your case, you might have changed 10 times your words while discussing. I am talking to you. And it has happened with many people. Even if in the last moment people are changing and we are discussing why it should be and why should not that one. All these things. It was a very, very rigorous work, and but we enjoyed all through. That is what beauty lies.
Thank you, sir. My next question is to you. And this is a question with reference to this book and your journey as an editor. Yes. Yeah, only this is the final question to her, and I have one more question for you, sir. Yeah. There are some writers who wouldn't allow the manuscript to go to the press if a single word is changed, like Iris Murdoch, for example. And here we are dealing with authors, some of them are around, some of them are not. So you have already touched upon briefly on the ethical aspect of it. Have you ever faced any problem with living authors not allowing a particular word to disappear from their writing or translation? And also you could just map it onto your editing of this book as well. Yes. This is the final question for you. Yeah.
No. I have never encountered an author who is completely opposed to their work being touched upon. most authors I have actually found are open to suggestions. It depends on the suggestion. If there are some authors who are very open to heavy edits, there are some authors who are not open to heavy edits. That is true. But honestly, most authors are okay with, first of all, if it's being translated from the regional language into English, then the original author is usually very excited about their work being translated into English because they understand the implication. We are in a global, we live in a global world, and as Penguin Random House, what I can bring to the table is that the English book, that this English book can now be read by people in Malaysia and Africa and the Middle East and whatever. So that's what I can bring to the table for my author. And most authors are very open to that. They like the idea of the fact that their book can be read across the world, should there be readers. And so they're also open to the idea of us. They know that we are on the same team, you know. As an editor, I'm on my author's team. I want this book to work for him. So I would never want to suggest something that would damage the book. I'm also open to their suggestions. I may make a suggestion that they are not happy with, or it changes what their intent is behind the written word. And if so, I'm open to their suggestions. So, yeah.
Thank you very much for that answer. Sir, my final question to you is now that the book is out and it has been around for more than 4 months, and I was there at the book launch, and there were some questions asked to you, partly political, partly literary. Now that the book is out, and how do you really envision the journey of the book? How do you think? Because it's almost like a reader response theory. How do you think that the reader would respond to the book in the times to come? This is the final question.
Thank you, Bidut Babu. Few days before, one of my friends, Mr. Bhaskar's Paricha was in Banaras. And from there he sent me a message that your book is available in one bookshop. We contacted, and I asked him that how the book is going there. Is Odia people are taking? He told, I will be buying. He told, no, sir. It is non-Odia people are buying this book for the reason that they want to know more about Odia literature. And he was quite happy. As yesterday, Mautushi and we are talking, there is a pertinent answer that कोई रीजनल लैंग्वेज का कोई अगर किताब या अंग्रेजी में जाता है, वहाँ का रीजनल लैंग्वेज का लोग उसको ज़्यादा पढ़ते नहीं. इसीलिए नहीं पढ़ते हैं क्योंकि रीजनल लैंग्वेज में तो ऑलरेडी वो किताब अवेलेबल हो लिखा. Why should they read in English? It is applicable to every Indian languages. So, but in 4 months, it has gone already for reprint. Yes. It is because of the Penguin and Motushi and her team. I congratulate and thank you for this. And I have the vision that it is, as I already told, that it is now available beyond the country. And let more Odia people also buy this book, present this book in any places they feel right. If nowadays a very interesting word is going on, Odia Asmita, going around the corner, I think it will be a very good idea of buying this book and presenting to a non-Odia reader. That I can only vision. Yes, it is the first of its kind. We have received some criticism from Odisha, but not from non-Odia reviewers. That is another political thing that I am not delving into this. But I am sure this book will be liked for the years to come. And my only suggestions to the younger generations, those who are not aware of our Odia literature and culture, they must also go through this book. Some of my relations, those who are staying outside Odisha, they have bought it and they are reading Gopal Krishna, Upendra Bhanja, and they were not aware who are they. So it is a very good, interesting experience that our children are nowadays totally derooted. They have no idea what is happening, what is about Oriya literature. They just Google anything you ask, they will Google and they will know that much. And it will be a really thing if the students, basically those who are not aware about our culture, they must go through this book. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am, for your contribution. And one more thing I would like to tell you is that there are some writers actually who know the subtle art of burning themselves in a single flame. You have two, sir. One is this book, and the other book is Rebati. I think it's a daunting task. It's a profound work. These two books, I think uh, we have so many things to thank you for. And I personally mean it, not just because I'm part of this book or I have been invited here, but I mean it. It's a really, really daunting task. And I think we are looking forward to many more such projects in future. And thank you very much.
You are too generous, Vidyut. Thank you for your nice words. I carry those words with me for the years to come. And thank you, Mautushi, for being part of this success.
Thank you to both of you.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us on the dais. Editing a book is not easy for the author as well as the editor. I would like to thank our sponsors for coming forward and joining hands and making this festival a great success. Our presenting sponsors, Remedial Life Sciences and Manpar Icon Technologies, powered by Indian Oil and LIC. Associate sponsors, JM Bakshi, Hind Terminals and S&M Group. Our cultural partner, ICCR, book partner, Oxford, Lekha Lekhi, knowledge partner, Utkal University and ASBM University. Thank you everyone for joining us. We'll just break for the lunch and come back for some interesting sessions. Thank you everyone.